Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Financial Tides. Today we are going to be talking about deed theft, and we've heard a lot about it, and there's quite a few commercials going around there about it. So we thought we would bring some information to you guys about that topic today. So, John, kick us off with
Yeah, Taylor, thank you. And welcome everybody. I see these commercials nonstop on cable news about, next thing you know, you've got four liens against your house and the bank's coming to take it away. And I said, that's so scary. It was scaring me. So I started looking into it. And then, what we found out was how it happens is it's also called home title fraud or title theft or house stealing, and it's an illegal transfer and recording of a real estate title without the knowledge or consent of the owner, just like the sales pitch commercial says. However, what the criminals do is they often target vacant properties, such as vacation homes and seniors, and then they either illegally rent it or try to illegally sell it. And then we're going to tell you a little bit about how this happens.
yeah, so you may think, oh my God, how can that happen? Like there's so many steps in the process of actually buying and selling a property that you would think that it's not really possible to do that. But this is a form of identity theft at the roots of it. This is a criminal activity that they'll use to target a potential home. And what they'll do is they'll forge an owner's signature on the deed and then they sell it, quote unquote, sell it to themselves, even though we know that there's no actual sale there. And they'll use either a fake ID, fraudulent ID, or counterfeit a notary signature. And they'll actually register the sale of that property at the county recorder's office. So now the county recorder thinks the property's been sold or transferred to someone else. They'll say, hey, I basically have bought the property and completed the transaction on it, but really they were never there. You were never selling your property. The signature is fake. They're using fake IDs. So that's how it gets back to that whole root cause of it's really just identity theft at the finest. So, what, like, of these things, now that we know what it is, John, what kind of things can criminals do if they do get access to your home title by doing this?
So there's basically four things that they would try to do. One is illegally rent out your home. Another one is open up a home equity line of credit in the victim's name. So the homeowner, sell the home outright and then, or refinance the mortgage to cash out equity known as a reverse mortgage scam. So, and there's ways to protect yourself. How will we do that, Taylor?
Yeah, I think before we jump into that, I just want to touch on the topics of some of these things and why people will do it. Obviously, illegally renting out your property can create cash flow for them. Opening a home equity line of credit, again, another way to access the value of the property. Selling the home outright, again, cash. So these are all ways, refinancing the mortgage to take cash out. They're all ways to try to use your home equity to create cash flow or cash for the actual victim or for themselves. So at the behest of the victim. So we want to make sure that we are protecting. And I think the way to protect is really first and foremost, you have to pay attention to the incoming bills that you're getting. I know modern day, a lot of this stuff is electronic delivery and you don't go to the mailbox and open it, but really opening up those statements or noticing if you're no longer receiving those statements, because the first step that thieves try to do to get you to not notice is changing the mailing address. So that way you don't get the bills and you're not looking at the statements anymore, or change the email address so you don't get the electronic statements and try to keep that crime hidden for longer. So if you no longer are getting your e-delivery bills or anything like that, or it's not coming in the mail when you typically get it in the mail, that's a big red flag. You should call up your company and make sure that you still, in fact, have the mortgage and that you still, in fact, are on the deed of the property. So the other things besides mortgage statements is tax statements. So if your mortgage company is not paying it, or even if your mortgage company is paying it, you should get a tax statement every year or biannually, depending on where you're located. And then water bills and other utility bills, just making sure that those are still coming and staying in your name as well. So, also, a lot of us will look out for older family members over the course of our lifetime. So, I think it's really making sure that you're looking out for them as well, because a lot of the times the people that won't be looking at all those things will be the elder community, and making sure that they have a note of when they receive their bills and that their name isn't being taken off any of the deeds or anything.
Good. And I think being diligent and staying on top of your stuff is the key. You know, again, the commercials scared the heck out of me enough to say we need to add this podcast. But when I started reading about how to protect yourself, I said, wait a minute, I log in to my banking, I look at my, mortgage balance going down, I look at my credit report. Wells Fargo, the app, every time you open it up, it's got your dial that shows your credit report. If I drop from 850 to 680, I know that something's going on, right? So I dropped from 850 to 840 to 848 to 830 to 850. And I know that that's my normal pattern based on how I pay my bills, and nobody's really doing anything. But there's another way to do it. And every year you should get your free credit report. And the website for that is annualcreditreport.com. It's not freecreditreport.com that advertises on TV. That's a way to give you one free credit report and enroll you in a service and charge you to see your credit report. So the one that's free is not free. And the one that's called annualcreditreport.com, that's the one you should go to every year. And you can look and see you'll see all the credit cards you have open, what things you opened that year, and you can really catch something where someone's starting to build something in your name and getting ready to take over. So take a look at that. And then insurances, make sure you stay on top of all your insurance companies, and you log into your New York Life or your State Farm, portal every now and then, or contact your agent, make sure everything looks good and no changes have been filed for you. And then there's the services. So all those commercials are based on title lock protection, LifeLock, and all that. So you can subscribe to one of those services. They're like $99 to $199 a year, and then they try to upsell you other stuff. I think that if you're nervous about this subject, $199 is a drop in a bucket to feel at ease, because now they're monitoring and they'll send you an alert that says you opened up a new line of credit with Chase, and you could say, oh yeah, I did. I got a new credit card with Southwest Airlines, and that's through Chase. Yeah, no problem. But if you're like, Chase, what the heck? I never even went to a Chase, then you know that somebody's after you. So anyway, that's my take on those.
Yeah, and then most importantly, if this does happen to you and you're probably feeling lost and don't know where to start and upset about the whole thing, there's a couple steps that you want to take to make sure that you are going back in the right direction. And the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to change your login credentials for all of your credit related accounts. And that's your mortgage, your credit card, your bank accounts, just to make sure if that's how they accessed it, or if they have access, that they no longer have access. You're going to want to file an identity theft claim, because again, that's what this is. Deed theft is identity theft. And then you're going to want to notify the credit bureaus as well. So that way they can start handling the adverse effects that may be occurring as a result of you having your identity stolen. And then last but not least, you're going to want to visit your local police department. You're going to want to bring your ID in so you can show that it's really you. You're going to want to show your proof of the address, the documents demonstrating that you were the one that purchased the home and that you never transferred it. So that way and the identity theft claim as well that you filed. So that way they can start trying to look into what exactly happened to have your property stolen, and hopefully they can catch the person that committed the crime. So, and then on the front end of it, the other side of things is if something seems like it's too good of a deal, so if a property is being rented out for way too cheap, or if a house is for sale that seems like it's way below market price and they only want cash offers and all kinds of stuff like that, the red flags, you need to pay attention to them, because you could be on the other side of it, which is helping unknowingly commit that crime with that person that's committing identity theft. And you may pay them all that money and not actually get to use the property like you think you would get to use it if you become a victim on that end. So Thanks for watching another episode of Financial Tides today. We look
Indeed.
forward to helping those interested in making financial situations one small decision at a time and helping you guys achieve your goals along the way. So feel free to share this with anyone you think could benefit from watching. And until next time, thanks for watching Financial Tides.
Thank you, everyone.
John Perillo and Taylor Perillo are financial advisors offering securities through Cetera Advisors LLC, a registered broker-dealer, doing insurance business in California as CFGA Insurance Agency LLC, member FINRA/SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cetera Investment Advisors LLC, a registered investment advisor. Cetera firms are under separate ownerships from any other named entity. California insurance licenses number 0F60123 and 0M90666, 6265 Greenwich Drive, Suite 251, San Diego, California 92122. The views depicted in this material are for information purposes only and are not necessarily those of Cetera Advisors LLC. They should not be considered specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Neither Cetera Advisors LLC nor any of its representatives may give legal or tax advice.